If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Welcome back in. It is live coverage of the NFL Scouting Combine here on the Reality Check on WNST. And I always feel better about coming to Indianapolis when there's a little bit of Baltimore in Indianapolis. And that is a good thing, because joining us now, he is the coach of the Detroit Lions and a Baltimore man himself. Coach Jim Schwartz sits down with us. Coach, good to see you, sir.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
You know, it's I was wondering, first of all, just tell us who you're going to draft. Just go ahead.
We're drafting 23rd.
Oh, I know, but you know.
Yeah, we'll draft the guy that's probably the 23rd best player on our board.
All right, I tried. Here's the
if you're drafting one, maybe you'd have a good question there too.
Well, we know who's being drafted number one.
Yeah, maybe you could battle that one. But when you're 23rd, there's so much stuff that goes on in between there that you got to be ready for a lot of different things.
It's different than perhaps some of your first drafts as an NFL head coach, that you now get to see how it all sort of plays out later on in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, Calvin Johnson was, an early pick, obviously. Stafford was first pick overall. Dominican Sue was second pick overall. So, we got some guys that were drafted in there, but we got a lot of guys, particularly in the last couple of years. Brandon Pettigrew was picked 20th. Louis Delmas was picked 33rd. Java Best, 30th. These guys late in the first round have been very, very good players for us. So there's certainly a lot of guys there, and there's guys that'll help our team.
Here's the real question. If during the course of your interviews this weekend, someone can belt out the chorus of Let's Rock and Roll by Charm City Devils.
Did you guys lay that down?
Oh, it's so good. I mean, you have no idea. It's so good. But I just assume that if they can do it, they're just a Detroit Lion. That's the way that it works.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't think you get any extra points for doing that on our draft board, but find a little safer place in my heart if you like the Charm City Devils.
Right. If you missed it, and you probably heard us replay it at some point, Coach Schwartz called in a couple weeks ago and just impromptu kind of went into Let's Rock and Roll, and I think it meant a lot to John Allen. If nobody else, it meant a lot to John Allen.
Well, I saw John Allen play an awful lot over his career, going back to Child's Play. And, back when he wasn't even allowed to sing, when he was playing the drums.
Right.
And he would go and play one or two songs, or he'd sing like one or two. I think he did For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd lay that one down. But I'm a big Baltimore fan. Local music.
No doubt.
When I was in high school, the Ravens, not the football team, but the band was full effect.
Rob Fahey is a good friend of ours. Comes in the studio regularly.
I still listen to that CD I got on my house.
It's really good.
And, there's so many bands. Rap Child.
Yeah.
Actually, Rap Child America. I think they had to change their name. DC Star. I mean, those were the groups that I cut my teeth in high school with.
It's still surreal to me when I'm watching Fast Times. I'm like, I know that guy. I know him. It's just a bizarre thing to me. Have you settled on this thing about being famous yet? Has that been okay with you?
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, when you're flying your colors, when it's game day, when you're doing team stuff, I mean, it is what it is. The league has become much more national now.
Sure.
If you're a fan of the Detroit Lions and you live in Texas or California, there's plenty of places to be able to get it. Whether it's the web, whether it's NFL Network, Twitter. Every team is a national team now. It used to be the Cowboys were America's team. All 32 teams are national teams now. So it's not just the city of Detroit. If I'm over on the Eastern Shore, I was in Salisbury last year at Dick's Sporting Goods trying to buy a lacrosse stick for my daughter, and there was a guy that had a Lions tattoo on his arm, and it was the new logo too, and he couldn't believe that I was in Salisbury, Maryland.
That's wild.
So I mean, it's a lot more national than it was before, and not just local.
Lions coach Jim Schwartz joins us here on WNST live from the Combine in Indianapolis. Coach, I'm hoping there's a humorous story here. Please tell me that at some point after the whole handshake thing, someone has walked up to you and tried to get you going with a fake handshake. Hey, somebody's done something, like a stranger.
No, I don't think there's been.
No.
Everybody, people sort of forgot about it. I mean, there's a 24-hour news cycle in the NFL. I think people moved on.
Yeah, but
after that.
No one's. I mean, look, everybody. When there's somebody is famous for a punch, then somebody always comes up to him in the bar and says, there's no one sort of jab or that even.
Hopefully, I have more on my resume than just that.
Well, yeah, I get it. I was just hoping there'd be a great story here. You're like, you know what?
Sorry.
Well, that's disappointing.
I do. When I was here a couple weeks ago for the Super Bowl, I visited the ESPN set. My son's a big fan of all the NFL shows. He loves Coach Ditka. So I got a chance to go introduce my son to Mike Ditka. And it was the first time I'd had a chance to speak with him probably for about a year. He just looked at me and he goes, "Coach, I like your style." So I don't know if it had anything to do with that, but Coach Dickens had some run-ins with Jim Harbaugh in the past too. So, hey, it's part of the thing. I mean, it's like I said, it's a national league now. Every team is a national team, and everything that happens is going to get shown on 24-hour news cycle. I mean, that's good. That's good for what drives this league. That's why all you guys are here at the Combine. 20 years ago when I first started coming, there'd be maybe one or two people here covering the Combine. Now it's a whole Radio Row setup.
And it only takes seconds now too, is the other thing. You know what I mean? It's not like later on that night or the next morning or anything like that. It's seconds later. It's on YouTube, and
you don't have to wait for the newspaper the next morning.
Right. You go to the podium after the game, and everybody's already talking about it.
I still remember when I was a kid. I delivered newspapers. I delivered the Baltimore News American, and a lot of times you would have to wait till the next day to see if you were following another team. You wanted to see whatever, if the Philadelphia Phillies won, or even a lot of the NFL.
Sure.
You waited till the next day to get that news, and or to look and see which Baltimore Oriole went 2 for 4.
Right. Right.
There wasn't the same instantaneous news now. I think that's made people more. They're fans not just on Sunday or on game day. They're fans 24/7.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.